film and reporting for Katie Chats here at the first ever Scarborough Film Festival with Eli Glasner. How did you get involved in this year's festival?
They invited me to be on the festival jury, and I just like the idea of being there on the ground level as this new festival is starting off, and the whole kind of the feeling of the Scarborough Film Festival. I mean, I covered fair amount of different kind of film festivals, the Toronto Film Festival, Toronto International Film Festival, and this is, in a way, kind of like the anti-TIFF, the anti-Toronto International Film Festival. And not to be negative about TIFF, but, TIFF has become such a big production with, thousands of people from around the world. You have to, wait for days just to purchase your online order, then to get the tickets, and then, you've seen the massive lineups around the red carpet, and it's great that Toronto has these amazing audiences that make TIFF work, but you kind of forget the people that are involved. And so now we have this kind of new film festival, very much based around the community, maybe a part of Toronto that doesn't always get the love that it deserves. And it's interesting because, looking at some of the films that we were viewing as part of the jury, I think it really does reflect Scarborough in kind of an interesting way.
Tell me a little bit about the lineup of films and how they reflect the Scarborough community.
Well, for example, there's a movie called Ali Blue Eyes. So this is a film about an Italian family, but it's a Muslim Italian family, and it's about a young man, Ali, or Ali Blue Eyes, actually puts contacts in his eyes to change the color of his eyes, and so he's kind of torn between two identities. The identity of the family that he grew up with, they're kind of strict and religious and has very strict rules about who he should be talking to and dating, and then there's the guys, the boys that he runs with. And this is a very urban film. This is a very contemporary film. This is a film that, except for the subtitles, I think if you showed this to people from this area, a lot of us could relate to those issues of, who am I? How do I fit into this country, this city that I live in, and how do I balance, where I came from or how I was raised with the people I'm running with? And so it's that contemporary flavor and that mix of cultures. And we saw this a lot of times, a lot of the films that we were looking at as part of the jury in terms of films that were about a country, but about, people that were kind of caught between different worlds. And so when you look at the totality of the programming in the Scarborough Film Festival, I think that's the theme that we see again and again. And so it's an interesting way of reflecting, I think, what they're trying to do with this. And it should be really interesting to see if the audience kind of responds to that, because it's great that they have a festival all their own that they can now go to. You just live down the road, come down to the Fox Theatre.
And as an expert on Canadian film, what is the importance of Canadian film and to have our audiences out viewing at Canadian festivals and watching Canadian films?
You need to know your own story. You need to see a reflection of that story and your culture on the screen. If you're going to look for your story, you're not going to see it in After Earth. You're not going to see it in X-Men. You're not going to see it in Man of Steel and all those other films. And those are great films. I have a lot of fun reviewing them and watching them, and I have lots to say, but I also want to see stories about my community and the people that I see in my daily life, and the issues that I'm struggling with. And so, for better or for worse, you don't always get those kind of movies at the multiplex. But one of the places you do get those kind of films, the independent films, the films that are a little more adventurous, the films that are a little more provocative, the films that are going to push us and challenge us, you're going to find those often at the festivals. The festival is the place where those movies start. This is where you kind of plant the seed. This is where that little movie you've never heard of, it gets into a festival like this, and then maybe it does well, and then maybe it wins a prize, and then it gets into a bigger festival, and then maybe we're talking about it at TIFF, and then maybe we're talking about it at the Oscars. I mean, that's the cycle. And so it's important to support these festivals because that's how you kind of, water the culture. That's how you kind of encourage the growth of the next wave of films, and hopefully films that reflect the story that we're all living today.
And where is the best place to follow you and hear all of your wonderful criticisms and critiques online?
You could start on Twitter, I suppose. I am Glasner on Film, so twitter.com/Glasner on Film. I'm a arts reporter and a film reviewer with CBC. So our main website is cbc.ca/arts. And every Friday, usually on CBC News Network, you can see me ranting or raving about a movie. So those are some good places to start.
Thank you so much. Congratulations and have a terrific festival.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Katie Ullman reporting for Katie Chats here at the first ever Scarborough Film Festival. Great.